Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Dickus, co-host with Jeff Briggs. Let's do two things real fast just to get us started. Let's go around just introductions because we have new peoples on the call, maybe what school or what company you're with. And just something, was there something new or refreshing that you've experienced in the last couple of months that you can just share with us briefly to kind of off on a light note? So again, Steve Dickus. And one of the biggest exciting things for me is I've got a 16-year-old grandson that yesterday passed his driver's test. And he is so excited.
Wow.
Can you remember when you passed your driver's test? 16 or 17? Now exciting that is. Who's next?
I'll go. Hey, my name's Eric Harrelson. Back with Black Oak Mine Unified School District, Golden Sierra High School. I had taught there for about 10 years or so, left 5 years ago, went to industry and back again. It's not often that you get your dream job coming around twice in your lifetime, let alone once. So,
hey, Eric, this is Dickus. Congratulations on coming back into the teaching fold. I've got two teachers, two auto shop teachers that have agreed to communicate with you if you need some resources to help you get your auto shop.
yes. Yeah, would absolutely love and welcome that.
Okay, I'll send that to you. I'll send that to you later. And that's what these calls are about, is so we work together and use resources and support each other. Who's next?
Awesome.
I'm going to jump on just in case I lose you on a country back road. This is Melissa Kistler from the El Dorado County Office of Education, Director of District Program Support. One of the programs I support is CTE, so welcome, Eric, I think, up to Black Oak Mine. I'm sure I'll meet you soon. Thank you for doing this work.
Yeah, welcome to be back. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, next.
Hi, I'm Alicia Cadell. I'm a CTE coordinator.
I'm off that.
Okay, she's muted now. Hi, I'm Alicia Cadell. Is somebody else on? Go on.
Was it locked or was the content open?
I'll try again. I'm Alicia Cadell. I'm the CTE coordinator at Folsom Cordova Unified School District, and we had an amazing morning for 3 hours today with 13 CTE teachers. It's my annual CTE 101 Summer Professional Development, and we accomplished so much, worked a lot on distance learning, and collaborated by sector and pathway. So it was very helpful for the teachers to get ready in this, hands-on project-based curriculum world that we're doing virtually. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing that. Who's next?
I'll jump in here. Pete DeLosa, also at Golden Sierra High School. I don't know, a recent bit of good news to share, I guess. I'm going to go with, I know that we're starting the year on distance learning. That's good news because I have an answer at least.
I bet you that's refreshing. And your students are going to love you too, Pete. All right, next. Faith, talk to us.
I'm Faith Kaplan. I'm at Cordova High School. I was the one, right?
You are the one.
Okay, great. I teach engineering and I have a makerspace. I actually am in the manufacturing, like product innovation and design pathway now. I see some familiar faces around. But one of the big things that we did this summer was articulated our capstone with Folsom Lake College. That just
Congratulations.
They have a Maker 100 course that, and he's never done it before, so he may be open to doing more schools. But it's basically creating a product for a customer, going through the whole design cycle, and it has a robotics and electronics component. So that's my new thing. So,
is that Zach Dow you're working with?
Yes, and I invited him to this call.
Yeah, he's a great guy. You'll enjoy working with him.
Yeah, so we went to Boston a couple years ago for Invent Teams. So we've worked a lot together. I'm excited about it. And I just didn't have any idea what I was going to do with my seniors. And now we have a direction. So
that's refreshing.
Yeah.
Somebody else?
I'll go after
Bob?
I'll go after Faith because she invited me on here. I'm Stephanie Bird. I teach at Mills Middle School next to Cordova High School, and I teach like a Project Lead the Way feed into hopefully Faith's engineering program in high school. And I'm just here to sort of glean some things. I've kind of had my head in the sand until I had a little more information, because I have been spending my summer with my 3 delightful children. And so that's been where my focus is. And I'm digging my head back into the work world now.
So who's next? Tell us about what school you're at, who you are, and something exciting you've done recently.
Hi, John Zay with Sacramento City College, and I teach mechanical. I teach an HVAC program, commercial HVAC, and we're just starting up a new program for industrial maintenance mechanic technology. And I think for the most exciting news I've had this summer is that my son and his partner are going to have a baby in January. So our family is growing a little bit. In fact, as far as grandkids go, it's going to double between, because my daughter is due in August, actually in a couple of weeks. So it's kind of fun that the family's getting bigger again. Thank you.
Congratulations, John. That's exciting. So I think
Yes,
change in life. You're not even old enough to be a grandfather.
Well, I'm
Who's
only
next?
21, so that ought to work.
Who's next?
Hey, this is Rob Hayworth from Laguna Creek High School down in Elk Grove. I'm the coordinator for the Manufacturing Production Technology Academy. And, you know, we're going back all distance learning, and I guess in some respects that's a bit of a relief because our other options were like everything. We're going back distance learning, we're going back transitional, we're going back independent study. So I'm glad to actually just have a direction now.
I'll go next. My name is Lance Gunnarsson. I teach engineering and woodworking technology at El Dorado High School. I'm also on the board of the California Industrial and Technology Education Association, which is a nice group. They do workshops. You might want to look into them sometime. And I'm looking forward to getting back on, even though it's going to be a strange year.
Hey, Lance, you got any
This group
idea?
can help me with some interesting ideas for delivering the curricula.
Lance, you got any idea when the Cal Poly recordings will be available?
No, I don't. I actually thought they might be already, but I'd have to look into it.
I talked to Chris Miller last week, and he's waiting for Cal Poly to release them. So I was hoping maybe you knew.
Can't enlighten you, sorry.
All right. Who's next? Name and something exciting you've done recently, please.
Steve, earlier when you talk about the Cal Poly, are you referring to the MTTA conference?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, maybe I'll go next. My name is Dee, and account manager from Autodesk. I help support California community colleges, especially on the design and make products. And then what make me excited, 2 things. I'm going to Yellowstone first time at end of this month. I've never been there before. And we're renting an RV, also first time for me to rent an RV. I never even get into the RV, so that's pretty exciting. Another exciting thing for me is I'm having a new technical partner here with me today, Tim Paul. And he's in the Sacramento region, and I'm probably a lot of you already know him, so I'm really excited about that.
Well, I guess that queues me up to go next, Steve.
You're up, Tim.
So I'm Tim Paul. I'm a Casa Roble metal shop, 4-year metal shop kid that went to Sierra College and got into manufacturing 20-something years ago. Mostly worked in the Sacramento area in the manufacturing industry for the last 20 years. And then I started working for Autodesk about 5 years ago. Helping education has kind of been my side hobby at Autodesk. And I'm super excited. I think yesterday or the day before was my first day joining the D in the education team. So I'll be D's technical sidekick for now. I'm super excited about it. I know Steve from helping Sierra College get their program up and going, and I spent a lot of time with Dan Frank and the other teachers in the region. So real glad to be a part of the group.
Thanks, Tim. We're glad you're with us. Well, I'm excited. This is going to be great.
Thanks, Steve.
Scott. Scott Seacrest, what about yourself or somebody, who else do I got out there we haven't heard from?
I'll go. I'm Scott Seacrest, Lincoln High School. I teach supposedly PLTW, but we'll use that too loosely. I don't know, am I echoing? Okay. What have I done this summer? I've built a 50-foot by 10-foot deck. I built a garage, and I remodeled somebody's kitchen, which is not done yet. So I stopped today to come to this meeting.
And what'd you do?
I chipped my front tooth that can't get my dentist to fix properly.
Playing hockey?
No, not in hockey. I've chipped it when a buffing wheel exploded in my face.
Oh, man.
Don't recommend it.
I missed what school?
Oh, Lincoln High School.
I knew the answer. I just
Anybody else?
That's it.
Ian Duncan from Kinney High School. I teach welding and manufacturing. I guess this summer it's been nice to realize there's so many resources and that this is such a nice community that supports one another. I really appreciate it. Thanks, Steve, and folks for leading this off.
Well, thanks for everybody being on. I wasn't sure how many people we have today with everybody scrambling and getting ready for the next week or two as life gets interesting. Anybody else?
Hi, I'm Karen Fraser Middleton, and I work with Steve and Jeff on this project. And the good news for me is that I've been installed as the president of our Seroptimus Club in Loomis. And one of our projects is Koinonia, and the advanced manufacturing place some equipment in the makerspace that's for the foster kids to learn how to do making. So I'm excited to maybe figure out how my Seroptimus Club can support Koinonia with that. And I do the newsletter for this when we send out the newsletter.
You make us look good, Karen. Thank you so much. Hey, so I don't know if you've been watching your chat, but I've been populating with all kinds of stuff. Just resources that I've been gleaning from different places here just in the last couple of days or so. Shall we go through that, or does somebody have something specific they'd like to talk about, or do you have anybody have a burning need that they would like some to brainstorm with the group, as your classes are about to begin? What's your preference? This calls for you.
Wait, someone's talking. Are they talking to us? Hi, I had some things, hands-on kits. Are people doing hands-on kits is a question I have for kids to work at home at all? Because I'm starting to make a list for that. And then real-world problems for them to solve if we want to do like a brainstorm, because for the senior capstone, they have to solve a problem, and I just wanted like a choice board of like 4 good ones. So that's all I had.
Okay, well, in answer to that, I have my business, Robotics Evolution. I have kits for drones, including some goggles that are as cheap as $50 for a pair of goggles for FPV flying. They require some soldering. I've got kits for if anybody needs kits for elementary school students, although we use them with high school students. We have the Robotis Pet kits that range from $40 to, we've got walking robots too, so up into the $500 and $1,000 range. So things that kids can do at home. And then we also sell a lot of parts for, they were originally for combat robots. So the controllers, the receivers, the speed control, that kind of thing if somebody wants to build robots. And I've been connecting with a lot of groups, like there's a whole community around building astromechs. And so there's a whole bunch of people that build, they've started doing some like tabletop sized robots for kits that kids can build. And so there's a lot of resources around that are available.
Eric,
so
why don't you drop your contact information in the chat?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah.
Anybody else got ideas for Faith?
I was just about to suggest for Faith that that those drone kits and combat robots are something I'm looking into to use for my capstone design engineering kids in the future. It seems like you can get them the motors and circuit boards and controllers and whatnot, and then they can design the body of the drone or the robot, whichever it may be, wire the thing together, program it, assemble it, and they can build it out of whatever they happen to have. You know, if you have 3D printers, if you have machining technology, combination of both, those would be really good capstone projects.
Faith, do you know Roy Ingram at Sierra College and Mechatronics program?
Have
you met him?
I know about I've been involved with that a little bit, like with just
The
exposed.
reason I asked that is they were putting together kits and they were coming up with how to distribute them, how to keep students accountable with the kits and getting them turned back in as well. So that might be somebody I can connect you with if you'd like, because that's also part of the management of kits.
Who, what's his last name?
Roy Ingram.
Ingram, okay.
I can send you his information and you guys could chat offline.
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, it's the capstone course. I feel like I kind of have dialed in, and I'm going to buy like really knockoff Arduino stuff because I don't know what it's going to come back like, really. I mean, I would be open to other things, but like for my younger kids, just like paper, scissors, cardboard, box knives, I don't know, you know, ruler, digital calipers. Those are like kind of the things like for making like your little maker's toolbox. So I just wasn't sure if other people were. I like that he created documentation for distributing and tracking it, because I think that's a huge part of giving somebody a $50 to $100 kit to take home, like holding them accountable to return it in one piece.
Yeah, that's what, yeah. So, and I think that would be a good thing. Anybody else doing kits with their classes or students or planning on it? Any thumbs up or any head nods? Because I think that's the next thing is managing the kits.
One of the things I was looking at was how to do, the last class I taught in person, I was doing drafting with really young kids. And I would really like to put together a kit. I haven't done it yet, but a source for kids to have just a good set of like a geometry set, but add a set of calipers so that kids could, you know, do sketching, because that's something kids can do at home. Mm-hmm. And if we can teach them, you know, not everybody can learn CAD over if they've got Chromebooks and stuff, that there's complicating factors. But if we can teach pencil drafting, that getting a set of calipers in a kid's hands really changes their perspective mathematically on measurement.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put something in the chat right now. This is something for public school teachers. If you're looking for, shall we say, like an angel donor, you're needing money and your district is tight right now because they're not sure what's happening with the budget and everything with the state. This might be a resource to contact these folks, and who knows what you might be able to get. So this is going to go in the chat right now. Any other thoughts or ideas?
Only thing that came to mind for me as she was talking about kits more and more is that maybe Kiwi Crate or one of those other commercial companies has an education discount for repeat customers.
Excellent. Well, I hope this helped a little bit, Faith.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else have something that they'd like to share that they're considering doing or would like to bounce some ideas off of others on this call?
Sure, Steve. John here with Sacramento College. Yeah, I'm real fortunate this semester. I'm just teaching a couple math classes, so I don't have to get involved in kits and whatever for our labs. But what I'm doing is, actually I'm buying my second iPad, and with a program called Notability, you can actually work out your problems almost like you're on a piece of paper or on a whiteboard, And then during the Zoom, the students can see that. And then you can save it. And then they can watch it also at their leisure. So my son, he did it last year. He's going through school right now because he wants to be a math professor. And he did a lot of online tutoring. And he had really successful results by using an iPad with Notability and working out math problems and showing his tutorees how to perform those problems.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Somebody else is about to add something too.
I'm hoping to have a couple projects that the students can do on something like 360 Fusion, which is new to me, so I'm going to have to learn that. But it can integrate with my CNCs. And then even though they can't come in, if they do all the drawing for it, I can fasten the board down, have that CNC'd and maybe video their actual part being made and send that to them. So as a way of getting them a little more connected to what's going on in the shop. And I'm hoping that'll inspire them a bit.
I did a little bit of that last spring once, and it worked. It worked pretty good. I had the kids just writing simple G codes, and I had a Sharpie in my tool there, and they would send me a program, and I would run it and videotape it and send it back to them. And they would just draw something with a marker on a piece of aluminum. And give them a chance to see that learning this at least could make something.
Excellent.
Well, we do electric guitars, so I'm kind of hoping that maybe I can somehow get them enough tooling to finish a guitar.
Hey, Lance, did you see the thing that Autodesk was doing on Fridays? What's going on in education with Sacramento City? I'm sorry, San Diego City College and the guitar.
No, I missed that one.
I can send you that link. It was really kind of a cool deal what the guy's doing down there. And I think he was working with Taylor guitars. I don't know if you're a guitar aficionado or not, but Taylor puts out a pretty quality product. It's one of the good.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, let me write this down.
Steve, you're talking about the STEM guitar project by San Diego City?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay, are you referring to Ray Pathman? Is the person you are connected with?
I'm not connected with him, but I sat in on that call.
Oh, okay.
I also have a copy of the recording, the link to it. I'm going to send to Lance. Anybody else wants it.
Okay, yeah, that would be an interesting one, yes.
It might get you ideas. It might be something you can show your students.
Mm-hmm.
Combination of all the above. Write this down. Keep talking.
Yeah, that one is interesting because a student can actually learn and to design and then make an electronic guitar and then take it to home. And then I think there's some costs associated with the materials, the kit, but the school right now is able to kind of cover that cost for the students. So there's no upfront cost for the students. That program has been pretty successful for them.
Good stuff. Hey, so does anybody else have something you want to add right now? Because I got something I'd like to share. And Jeff Briggs, when I'm done, or if anybody else is done, you want to talk about what we're talking about doing in October with Manufacturing Day and Manufacturing Month?
Sure.
Okay. So I want to take your attention just for a moment to the chat box. And if you can open that up. I threw a bunch of stuff in there. I think you might find some of this useful, I hope. The very top one, the distance learning is it's a crowdsourced type place. You may want to consider going there and see what's going on. It's not just manufacturing, it's other CTE disciplines being talked about there. And then the next one down, this is from CDE. This has the California careers. And I used to use this a lot when I was in the classroom because I really think it helps the students to connect with what we're learning in the classroom to how it relates to careers. And there's several different, like Career Zone. I think there's Career Surfer in there. There's different things for assignments that you may want to consider using at the community college and or the high school. And as I go down, San Diego County Office of Ed, and I can't remember the young lady's name right down there. I think her name is Rashawn, who is Jeff's counterpart, the regional director, they've got a monthly newsletter related to manufacturing that you may just want to just sign up for, no cost. But again, it's keeping you abreast of what's going on in industry, at least in part of the state. And the next one is the one I was talking about. If you have a funding need and your school's not giving you the dough and you're getting cut back for whatever reason, you may want to just check out this source. There may be an angel out there that might help you out. Next, I learned about this thing here. It's SHAPE, and see how it's spelled, SHAPR 3D. And it's basically to be used, it's a design program for iPads and stuff like that, which I thought was kind of cool. It's free. And John, this is for you, virtual breadboarding. You're probably familiar with that one. And I think some of you probably remember me showing the Ed Puzzle program, where you can take like a YouTube clip and you can insert a quiz or a question in the middle of it, or you can insert something where you're actually talking. So it's like a YouTube editing program. It doesn't cost anything, easy to use. Let's see, what's the next one here? I thought this was interesting. Don't we all basically teach math in some form or fashion? And so this is you may want to check out this link. It's a math for trades, and it's a free online resource that you could use if you have any math teaching. There's it gets into thousandths of an inch stuff besides, the decimals that you can see on there, besides whole numbers and fractions. And then Zoom it. When you're doing a PowerPoint, would you love to be able to circle something or highlight something on your PowerPoint without having, as you're actually talking or somebody asks you a question versus what you've set up in the PowerPoint in advance? So Zoom, it's a free little app that you can use that you can actually do that, where you can draw a box around something or highlight something during your presentation. And this is from Bob. Bob, is there something you want to talk about here on this Cal Virtual Campus?
Sure. We're helping California community colleges make this move online, and we're trying to gather all the resources we can find that we hope they're OER free, but even if they're paid for, we'll get them on one spot for faculty to look at. So I shared the link in there. And it leads me a question for you, Steve. So all the great resources you're sharing here in the chat, do they also appear in your Google Doc? Or should I be copying and pasting each one of them? And
great question. Right now, no, because I just basically created this today, and I was cutting and pasting it from a Word document. And so yes, either cut and paste, because we don't have this privatized, so you can do that. And or I can send all these out. I can actually send the Word document to everybody that I'm cutting and pasting these from. That might be easier if you prefer.
well, I know that San Diego County had set up these Google Docs for crowdsourcing.
Yes,
and
yes, that's who these are from. You're correct.
I would prefer you put them all in there and for the sector, and then we'll share that link, and then
all right,
it'll be updated weekly, monthly.
Yeah, we just need to find a place to have a repository, or a place where we can all go and get these, because we have a newsletter that we have up here. You may or may not be familiar with it. I can put that link in here, because we've been recording all these shop talk calls we've had, and all the resources are posted on there as well.
Yeah, if you could put a link to it, I've had the call drop twice here, so yeah, if you could put a link to it so that I could just find all the information in case I miss anything in the chat.
So we can curate these. Okay, so you're suggesting that I work also with the people down at San Diego County Office of Ed and get some of this in there too. Perfect, I'll do it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then what else we've got down here? We did all that. Cool. So, what time is it? 4 o'clock. We're halfway through this. Jeff, you want to take just a moment and talk about what you and I and a couple others have been talking about for Manufacturing Day coming in October, and then how the teachers and their students can be engaged in this virtual activity we're working up?
Sure. First of all, can everybody hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, basically what we are doing, first of all, let me just back up. I didn't introduce myself because mainly I like to get the teachers on this forum talking to each other and not necessarily listening to me ramble on about stuff. But I am the regional director for advanced manufacturing for the North Region Community Colleges, and my role is to connect industry with educators. And so I spend a lot of my time trying to reach out to industry on your behalf to get additional resources and make the connections out in the community that we need. So if anybody on this call has a particular need for a connection with somebody in industry, I just want you guys to know that I'm a good resource to be the person to go out and make those connections happen. If you're having trouble making those connections yourselves, I've noticed that most of you who are on this call already have really great relationships with local businesses, but there are newer teachers sometimes, or just sometimes there's partners that don't want to engage and need a little push. So please don't hesitate to engage me, and then as soon as you email me or call me, I'll just make Steve go talk to that person, because that's what he does. No, I'm
Thanks,
joking,
Jeff.
but I'm joking, but I'm not. But anyway, no. So along those lines, one of the things that we've been trying to do in a region, I will also mention that I'm on a couple of different boards. I'm on the board of the local chapter of the Society of Manufacturing Engineers, and I'm also on the board of the Sacramento Valley Manufacturers Initiative, which is shortened to SVMI. So a lot of you may have heard of one or both of those organizations, and we have been trying for quite some time to put an expo together, manufacturing expo together in the month of October in honor of Manufacturing Day, which is always the first, I believe it's the first Friday of the month of October, or something to that effect. But anyway, there's usually one day in October that's set aside for Manufacturing Day. And we have, for a couple of years, been trying to put something together. We finally had something going to where we could offer all these tours of manufacturers that we could invite schools and the public to go out and visit and tour. And because of COVID, that we sort of hit a wall. One of the major sponsors of that event was going to be Autodesk. Thank you to Dee, who's on this call. They were going to be a big sponsor for us this year. We've decided to postpone the in-person event to October 2021. In the meantime, what we're going to do is a lot of the SVMI members and other manufacturers who may or may not be involved in the SVMI are going to host virtual tours. So we're working with those, with some of the local manufacturers to open up a virtual tour and host that to allow teachers and students to join and tour a manufacturer virtually. So we're working on that. We've actually had several meetings to get that off the ground, and it seems to be going really well. And we will obviously be sending out information to everybody who's on this mailing list, the same email that we use to get these meetings out to you. If you're getting our meeting invites, then you will definitely be getting more information about those Zoom tours that we're putting together. So if anyone has any questions or a special request, please feel free to chime in either now or at a later time. You can always email me or Steve about it.
Jeff, this is I have a quick question, and then if it's too much to answer, we can talk offline. So for the virtual tours for the manufacturers, what are the what are the benefits for them? Because I have some in mind, but I want to see if this is good fit for them to join this.
So the main purpose, right, is to get kids and just the community overall, but mainly we want to get kids excited about careers. So the main purpose is to show off what some of the careers could be at some of these manufacturers. So we plan to have, so it's going to be basically like a CNC machinist at one company. We'll be talking. We'll have somebody who does welding at like Siemens. They'll be talking about the types of projects, the types of things that they work on. So what's it like to be a welder at Siemens, or what's it like to be a CNC machinist at Tri-Tool, or what's it like to be a process engineer or manufacturing engineer at a plastic injection mold making company. Okay. Those are the types of virtual tours we're trying to offer. We're trying to make it engaging, especially to our younger population.
Okay, thanks.
Dee, if you got ideas of manufacturers that may want to participate, we'd love to talk to them.
Yeah, what I'm actually trying to ask is what are the things that manufacturers can gain from this interaction, so that way I can kind of talk to them about this idea.
Well, so it's a benefit of their future, they could talk to their future workforce and help the students see like what the actual environment is. And like at that Parallax tour where the students seemed like they were really engaged, being able to actually hear directly from somebody who was doing the CNC, it wasn't just the manager of the business saying, oh yeah, we make robots or whatever, right? So it was kind of that engagement. So it's a chance to really directly connect with students who may come back and say, hey, you talked about a summer internship on that virtual tour. Is that still available? That kind of thing.
Okay.
And it's good community relations too, showing that their business is interested in supporting education.
Okay. Well, we'll go back and then, yeah, thanks Karen for clarification. Yeah, we'll go back and think about it. And then Jeff and Steve, maybe we'll reach out to you separately on this.
I think there's a big, coming from industry and most of my friends being in the industry, I think there's a big thirst for manufacturers to get more, younger people or just people into the industry. So I can definitely see that being a benefit for manufacturing companies. I'll also extend Steve and Jeff. I'm pretty well networked with the industry in our region. So if you're looking for something specific, I can give you a big dump of things. But if you're looking for like a specific profile of who you'd like to showcase, just reach out to me.
Tim, we'll take you on that.
That'd be fantastic. Yeah, we will definitely.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing from you guys.
So as we sit here, we've got a little more time together. Who else would like to share something that they're thinking about doing in the next couple of weeks and they could use a little support or some ideas from the people on the call? Or
So Steve, I'd like to add something, John,
Sure, John.
City College. So what I wanted to share with you was something that might be useful for some of the high school engineering classes. And something that I was working with my granddaughter this summer, right? Though she was probably a little too young, but and got bored really, really quick. But anyway, what we made was I don't know if you can see this, but we made a little windmill, right? And it's, you all heard of Rector sets? That's what this is, right? So, and you can see that it has gears and it turns the windmill. So I was thinking, and I think it costs like about $30. So a Rector set has, they just have 1,000 different kits that you can buy. But I'm thinking when the kids put these together, it definitely gives them a better understanding of how things actually put together and maybe how leverages work and gears work. And they get a much better understanding than just listening to somebody talk about it or reading it in a book. I mean, hence that's the whole reason why we have labs, is so people, I think people are basically touchy-feely people, and that's how we learn, by doing rather than observing. But anyway, I mean, if you're looking for a kit to buy that's not too expensive, and they even come with their own tools, so that's pretty cool. A lot of little parts to lose, though, so that's
That's the
a lot of screws and nuts and things like that, right? But I think that's to be expected with anything you send home with the kids. You're not probably going to get everything back. Anyway, just a thought. All right.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that thought.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? I'd like to hear from some of you others that haven't said anything thus far about what's happening in your shop or what's happening in your class coming up in this semester.
Steve, I've got an idea that I just started rolling around yesterday, and I'll just throw it out, and you guys tell me if you think I'm nuts or if I might be able to pull it off. This is not a completely formed idea, but after our district made the decision to go on the distance learning start, I was listening into the board meeting, and it seemed like, at least in the way they talked about it in that meeting, that they were willing to listen to suggestions on a grade level or course specific basis on how to do things face to face. And what occurred to me, a potential option just yesterday, is I'm wondering if I can't, so I'll have 20 kids in Intro to Engineering here in about 10 days. And I'm thinking I might be able to set up a schedule where in the evening for 2 hours, sometime after their parents are home from work and they can get a ride, they could come to the lab and actually work on hands-on projects, 2 or 3 kids at a time or something. I could take these 3 kids, you guys come every Monday, and these 3 every Tuesday, or something like that, maybe, is kind of what I'm thinking about trying to figure out.
Will your admin let the students come on campus?
Well, I don't 100% know the answer, but I think that they will. And I think I will certainly need to run that by them and what I'm going to do and before I actually try to do it.
Yeah, and does your district have a cleaning protocol and things like that, masks and surfaces? And
yeah, they say that they do have a protocol. I haven't actually seen what that protocol is.
Okay. I think it'd be really cool if you could swing it.
The other option, are you talking about machining kind of things or computer things?
Machining things.
Machining things. Yeah, having a rotation, like you said, with because you're dealing with large pieces of equipment that you can't move out of your shop.
Right.
Right. And yeah, just either, the cleaning protocols would be great. It's tough, and you can't hold kids accountable who don't do it.
Right.
That's the other challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to turn this into a debate, but I would agree with Pete. If you could do this, and the ones that are able to and want to, why not enrich their learning experience?
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking I might offer it as like a, not like you don't have to do it. It's not an assignment you have to complete for points in the class, but it's a, like we're going to do everything that we can for the project short of physically making the thing. We'll do it over the internet. And then if you want to actually come physically make the thing, I'd like to have some way for them to do that.
So Pete,
Yeah.
John Zay here from City College. If you like, I've spent half the summer going over shop protocols.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's listed. We have a pretty comprehensive program that we put together. If you would like, I could always email that to you.
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah,
I'm going to send you my email address to the chat thing here real quick.
Yeah, that would be great. And then if you want, Steve, you want me to CC you on that?
Yeah, please, John, that'd be great.
And Pete,
Anybody else wants it?
sorry to jump in, Pete. You're running a machine shop or metal shop type class?
Yeah, it's the course is design engineering, so we have a couple of manual mills and lathes and a couple of CNCs.
While you were talking, I was thinking for the kids that can't come in or don't want to come in or whatever. I know Purdue has set up a lab where you have essentially people that are running other people's projects, and I know if I was still back in metal shop, I would probably be one of the kids happily running other people's things. So something to think about, right?
That's a cool idea. Yeah.
I know there's at least a couple kids at Rockland High School that I know well enough to know that they would gladly, spend their extra time in the machine shop making, finalizing projects for people.
Yeah, sweet.
Something
Great idea.
Yeah.
So another idea. So we recently, I've been working with some vendors because we're going to buy a robotic arm. So they're rather expensive. So and from what I've talked to my industrial partners, they're really more interested in it. The students just know conceptually how they work. And what's interesting on this, and we kind of demonstrated this and actually did it, is that you can program. I mean, you can program a robotic arm online. You don't have to physically be there. But if you put a camera there, and you can actually operate a robotic arm remotely, all right? So if you put a camera on the robotic arm and you make program changes, you could actually see if it was effective or not. Okay, which I got really, really excited about. Okay, I think like this is the coolest thing since sliced bread. And then I realized, well, it would never work because the college wouldn't let us go through the firewalls. Okay, so whoops. And I understand why. But that concept could probably be applied to a lot of things where maybe the student can't do it at home, but somehow they could do it at school via the internet, or telling somebody at school what to do, and then you have feedback from the camera, right? Yeah.
I mentioned Purdue, and that's kind of what Purdue's doing. They have someone running the machine on a Monday, and they make four or five different people's projects, and they're not just running off and doing it, but there's a Zoom meeting, so they kind of do it together. Just one person's running the machine, right?
So and that brings me to a question I like to ask the group, with your permission, Steve.
Please, John.
What is your school or your district's policy about just as a teacher coming back on campus? I know at Los Rios, they really don't want us on campus, all right? So, which is
our district is totally open to employees being on campus. I'm on campus right now, as a matter of fact. My principal's in his office across the hall.
Right.
And most of our staff, I'd like to say about 50% of our staff are on campus during the day.
I've heard they're letting some of the faculty back on campus at Sierra College, as well as some students on a selected basis. Wow. Anybody else? Any other schools?
Well, thank you.
You're welcome, John. Great thoughts.
We'll be back on campus. And the policy right now, because of all the distance learning, is that they're telling us we can't bring our own kids back on campus. So as far as outsourcing the work to Purdue, you could take the literal translation from whatever programming the kids do in their G code, and you just do exactly what they do. That'd be the other option, where you run the machine for them and push the buttons for them. I don't know if do you have a Haas by chance?
No.
No, because I know that they have a simulator with Haas, and you can throw that G code in their simulator to see if it crashes the machine or not before you actually run it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm using a Tormach machine, and there's a simulator for that, and I used it a little bit last spring, and it's not bad. One of the things that, like, because I'm teaching kids that are just starting out, and I'd like to be able to teach them how, like, you put your material in the machine and clamp it down and set your offsets, and I haven't found a good way to do that via simulator.
Yeah, it's hard to. That's not replaced without at least seeing it happen, right? Yeah, I've taught a lot of people how to be machinists, and there's something about the fear of bad things happening that helps teach people a little extra well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know all the details, but I just saw what Purdue's doing. You know, they essentially have some, you know, would have been like the me kids, you know, the kids that were like the shop nerds that you know, helped out and were the trusted kids, and you know, they're helping, you know, engineering students take stuff through completion. But what I understood was that one key to that was that they had to, it wasn't, they just throw it over the wall like what happens in engineering departments now, right? They had to actually stay on, you know, on a web link with them. And so at least you would see, you know, hey, I'm putting it in the machine like this, and I have to know where the X and Y, you know, Z zeros are, and I have to do this and this. And it's an idea. It's obviously, I sympathize with everybody on this call. I got to mention to Steve earlier, I've got a 12-year-old daughter that's going back to school as well. And I just, you know, it's hard enough to teach while you're standing in front of them, let alone, you know, virtually. So, especially in a CTE program. So I applaud all of the work you guys are doing.
Hey, Steve, Jeff here. I want to prime the pump a little bit for the next call that we have. Well, first of all, I'll let you poll everybody to find out when we should have the next call. But when we do have the next call, I would like to talk about a learning platform called Amatrol. If anyone has heard of Amatrol, let me know. They have opened up, here, I'm going to share my screen real briefly, if I may. This is their website. They do computer-based virtual simulation, and they have offered up to our region access to their complete suite of e-learning courses. And that involves all of these subjects here, from Industry 4.0, fundamentals, automation, electronics, and so forth, all the way down the line to workplace effectiveness. And each one of these just expands and goes in great depth in all of these subjects. It looks to me like an amazing platform, and we can dive into it deeper on our next call. But I wanted to throw it out to you guys now because I know school's starting soon, and you may be interested in kicking the tires on this tool. I can assign anybody. You know, I can create a user login for anybody I want in our region, and it will expire. It won't expire until January 2021. So you can just go in there and really look around and learn as much as you want. So if anyone's interested in that now, shoot me an email. I can get you set up on it, and then I'll also do on our next call, I'll do a more in-depth tutorial on how to use it.
Jeff, I think that'd be perfect. Maybe that's going to be the essence of our. So,
Jeff, John from City College. Is that going to be available for student use also?
I am not sure. Let me find out for you. That's a great question. Right now, I think they just want to, they opened it up to educators. I can assign it to anybody, but I'm not sure that's how they intended it for us to use it. So let me find out.
So, yeah, because we had it at Sacramento City College about a year and a half, 2 years ago. The whole suite for a year, but nobody ever used it because we just dumped on us, but we already had our courses all laid out. So it's like, why are you going to change paddles midstream? But anyway, from what I saw, it's a great program.
Yeah, it looks like a great program. I've dug into a few modules and I definitely can see some value in taking some of this content and mapping it over to your curriculum. I will also throw out, and I think we've talked about it before in other calls, that Tooling U SME has offered us free trials as well, so if anyone's interested in that. Tooling U SME has also offered to help integrate their their program into your curriculum. You basically send them your curriculum and they'll, at no cost, they'll help you fit their modules into your curriculum. So that's also something to throw out to everybody if anyone's interested in doing that. So we can definitely dig in this. Steve, I'll let you take it over and find out when our next call should be.
Well, do you think it should be next week, or should we wait 2 weeks and let the dust settle next week when a lot of the high schools are open?
I'd say 2 weeks for my part. That's my vote.
And I agree with that, Steve. I think 2 weeks is fine.
Everybody okay with 2 weeks, whatever that date will be?
I think 2 weeks works.
Yep,
Okay.
I think it's a good idea.
I'd love to hear consensus.
Yep.
Consensus says 2 weeks.
So looking like the 18th, does that work for, sounds like the 18th works. So school will be open for a lot of you. And we'll have a chance. And
High school starts Monday.
Well, so at least you'll be open for a week.
Luck.
Thanks.
So let's go for the 18th, same time, 3:30. Does that conflict with anybody with their new schedules and when you've got to be online with students? All right. So let's do this. So we'll send out, the link, the computer, the calendar invite and what have you soon. And then we'll also do the 24-hour reminder like I did yesterday. And then I'll also send out to everyone my Word doc I have, so you didn't have to cut and paste out of the chat, just in case you want to click on any of these links and just kind of kick around with it. Any other parting thoughts from anybody? This has been a great meeting, and I appreciate everybody being on and sharing.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I shared with Pete the other day, I'm kind of feeling like a country bumpkin in the big city, being out of education for 5 years, getting back into it now with the distant learning. But thank you for inviting me to this. What a wealth full of information you guys have. And I certainly look forward to being on the next call in a couple of weeks. But I do want to thank you guys for that. That was awesome.
Okay. And we'll send you out the recording of this call too, probably, what do you think, within 24 to 48 hours, Jeff, once we get it back from Zoom? Well, that's what we'll do. We'll send it out. And Dee, you had something you wanted to?
Yeah, I was privately chatting with Ian. I just want to share, just in case anyone else has that same need. So California Community College essentially set up workshops for students who have access to software that they might be able to use when they have Chromebooks. And then, so if you need I know Fusion is set up on the virtual machine and a few other tools. And then, so if you want your students having Chromebooks to be able to access those tools, normally they wouldn't be able to use, I can help you to connect with, it's actually Mark Martin is Jeff's counterpart in the Bay Area. And he's the one kind of owning this virtual machine. I just want to share all of this with you so you know your students actually can access to the tools, the virtual machine.
Is that just a code that they need to access the virtual machine?
So I think how that works is Mark Martin, he has a Google Sheet to sign up. And once you put your student contact information there, they will send your student like a username and then log in for the virtual machine. And then they will be able to have access to all the software that's installed on the virtual machine. Like there's no cost or no any like another additional work for you.
So somebody else asked me if I could give them some information about programs that could run on a Chromebook. So I think you just answered that question. Awesome.
Yeah. So if you want to know, if you want to have access to the virtual machine, and then contact Jeff or Steve or myself, and then we will connect you with Mark Martin and to get them access to that. To that.
And it does work because I've done it. I actually did it with a Chromebook.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
we also tested performance. Actually, it's a pretty well.
Cool.
I'll add, not here pushing Tinkercad, but if anybody hasn't played with Tinkercad, it's a pretty neat tool. If you guys are doing Arduino stuff or Arduino programming, there's also circuits on that. That's free to everybody. So I was just, while we were on the call, remembering how to use it. It's pretty neat. I've done some projects with my 12-year-old daughter with it.
Well, it's good to see everybody back, and hopefully everybody's staying healthy. Tim, welcome to the group, and Eric, welcome to the group.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Get together in 2 weeks, and you know how to contact me if you got any questions in the interim. So let's keep rocking.
Excellent. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
You're welcome, Lance. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks for participating.
Thank you.